Hi everyone, this is Robbie from Wreck-It Rob, and I'm going to document my current kitchen extension, which with current plans should commence next week. Firstly, a little bit of background. I live in Essex and I bought this 3-bedroom house at the height of the pandemic. On April the 1st, ironically April Fool's Day, I moved in but with pretty much no furniture at all. As we had suspected to be on lockdown, I got a removal company to put all my furniture in storage. When I moved on April the 1st, we were on full lockdown and I was unable to get my furniture back as there was no removal men or van hires. With a mattress, some clothes, a microwave and a duvet, I survived for 3 weeks until my furniture finally got delivered. I've always dreamed about having a large kitchen diner, and when I saw this house online, I saw that it already had one, to a degree. When I first visited this house, I was surprised how small my dream kitchen diner actually was. But wait, there was a solution. And that was in the form of a 150-foot garden where I was able to extend. Please excuse the current mess as I've moved a lot of garden furniture to make room for the builders. My neighbours either side had already extended, so the precedence for extension had already been set. All of the houses surrounding me had already been extended, had loft extensions and in some circumstances had extensions on top of extensions. My house was certainly the most undeveloped house in the street, so I started my plan to extend. After a year and a half from the pandemic, I managed to get my tuition company back into full swing and a regular pay coming in. Luckily, my brother is an architect, so pulling on all my favours and of course a family discount of 100%, I presented to my brother some of my ideas. There was a picture I saw on Instagram, which sold me on what I really wanted as a kitchen diner extension. The beautiful high ceilings filled with glass, the gable frontage and the desirable island which I could use to have my family sitting around for Christmas dinner. Absolute bliss. I got my brother to design it for me, but then of course changed my mind. Being quite a private person, also enjoying pyjama days on my rare day off, I decided I would be too overlooked with the glass roof. And with increasing gas prices, there was no way I could afford to heat something like that with a glass roof. So I showed my brother this idea and I was sold. It still had the gable and the island in the middle, but would stick with skylights and pending lighting instead. So my brother came round, measured up, and we came up with a plan. This is the architectural drawings of what my house currently looks like. My current living room is small, so I use that as a snug in the winter. The man cave, which is ironic as I'm the only one that lives here, is where I spend most of my time with sofas and a TV. Then as you can see, the very small kitchen. Outside was a very generous 25 square metre decking. I told my brother I wanted a 5-metre extension which would make the new floor space the same size as the decking, give me an extra 25 square metre room. Everyone, and I mean everyone, said it was too large, especially as it was just me living here. But I stuck my guns and I'm glad I did. This was my new proposed kitchen. As you can see, it's quite a lot bigger than the original. The placement of the island and where the kitchen units are was not accurate, as we just placed the units in the island anywhere really, just so we could get planning permission. 2 months later and £800 down, we got planning permission. The next phase was to get a structural survey for the steel beams. 3 months later and £600 later, we got it. So all we needed to do now was find a builder. That's a story for later on. Nearly a year later, which could have been a lot longer, but here we are. Now for the exciting bit, designing the kitchen. Originally, we were told to go to Magna Kitchens as the builders could get a trade discount, which I was desperate for, as the cost of the building, steel, wood had increased. Thank you, Russia. Also, the cost of living had gone up. Thank you also, Boris. So after discovering the price of what I was expecting to pay was actually doubled, I really needed a discount. But after visiting what I expected to be a Magnet showroom, where they just had 7 kitchens on display, not even whole kitchens, I decided to look at rents. Now this is what I was talking about. 49 whole kitchens in different designs. I was totally spoiled for choice. I knew in my head that I wanted a shaker style kitchen, and I was looking at something grey-blue in colour. Yeah, very typical for a bloke colour. But I had an image in my head of what I wanted and I was sure I was going to find it. There were so many designs, so many different types of colours, handles, ovens, sinks, you name it. It was quite overwhelming, but however exciting. We chatted to some friendly designers and booked a 3-hour session with them the next day. Yup, that was my reaction. 3 hours. How laborious was that? There was no way it would take 3 hours. Yeah, it actually did. They created this lovely 3D model where you can see it almost as if you're in virtual reality. They even give you these goggles so you can attach the phone to your head and look around the 3D model. I was so impressed. As you can see, we have the desired island I always wanted. I also underestimated how much space I actually had with my current 5 metre extension plus the current 2 metres of my current kitchen. That leaves a 7 metre row of cabinets. As you can see, it certainly shows. This makes it look a lot clearer. There's 3D pictures that they took from the virtual reality model. This is my favourite bit and designed and named by my mother, as we call it the tea nook. On the left hand side of the kitchen we would have space for a cupboard, which I'm going to store basics such as hoover, dustpan and brush, stuff you would keep under the stairs. I'll get to the under the stairs plan later. But it would have space for a kettle, tea, sugar, coffee facilities. The cupboard on top would house the cups and glasses. Besides, it would be a fridge for milk and, just for something a bit special, a wine cooler. I actually am teetotal, so I don't drink alcohol, but it would be for cokes, bottled waters, and oh yes, some wine just for guests. I designed the island to be really a glorified table, but with storage, although it will be kitchen counter height, and I'm looking at some cool bar stools to go around it, some grey, some black to go around it, hopefully fitting 10 people around it. As you can see, the kitchen units, they seem to go on forever. I have 2 cupboards each side. One will be the pantry and the other, just general stuff. But the cupboards below house a washing machine, tumble dryer and dishwasher, then just some general space for usual pots and pans. This is my general design. Oh, forgive the blue sofa, my auntie wanted to see if there was room for an auntie sofa, where she could sit and watch me cook, which happens once in a blue moon, or direct people cooking. But that probably won't happen, so I'm hoping to get a 4 and a 3-seater for the man cave, if and when I have some money left over. So this is currently what my kitchen looks like, and I hope the transformation is going to be extraordinary. Going from a 10 square metre kitchen to, in total, a 35 square kitchen, plus kitchen nook, plus island to sit 10. How much you might be thinking did this cost? Well, Friend's Kitchen, I was really impressed. Approximately 7k for all the kitchen units, island, countertop, dishwasher, hob and a hood. 5k was then added to that for a 3-day fitting. My countertops are just laminate. I saw a lovely counter I loved, which turned out to be quartz. Now as a bloke, I didn't understand what that meant. And when I showed the showroom man, he said, you have very expensive taste, sir. Oh, I replied, after discovering that would cost an additional 8k for the countertop. I relented and decided to go for laminate. So, that's my story so far. Technically, the build is supposed to start Monday the 5th of September. I'll do an update in a week's or so's time. If you want to see my progress, or lack of, please like and subscribe to Wreck-It Rob.